Yes. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And man, what it is, people. Look, I told y'all, I promise y'all I wasn't going to do no more videos on Young Thug, man. But I had to do this. I had to do this for the streets. This is strictly for the streets. And anybody that got any kind of morals and principles about yourself. You know what I mean? So, 2 or 3 YSL members was in court today. And the state tried to come at them with this deal. And this how they responded.
We're ready, Michael.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
Your Honor, as it relates to Mr. Tinquarius Mender, Mr. Mender is charged with count 1 of the indictment, conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, which carried a sentence of 5 to 20 years. He's also charged with count 44 of the indictment, which is possession of a weapon by an incarcerated individual, which carries a sentence of 1 to 5 years. Count 45, possession of a telecommunication device by an incarcerated individual, which carries a sentence of 1 to 5 years. And last, count 46, which is participation in criminal street gang activity, which carries a sentence of 5 to 20 years. NC recidivist, the state did file a recidivist notice on December 9th of this year. If Mr. Mender was found guilty of all the counts in the indictment, he'd be looking at a maximum exposure of 50 years to serve in prison.
And now, could you explain the difference, I think, for Ms. I'm sure that Ms. Fagan has probably explained that to her client, but can you tell Mr., for the benefit of the record and for Mr. Mender's benefit, what potentially may happen if he were to be convicted of any of these particular counts? Like what would, under A or C?
Yes, if he's convicted of any of the counts, as an ANC recidivist, Mr. Mender, you would have to get the maximum amount on for that charge, and then whatever time the court gives you, which if would be the maximum, you have to spend every day door to door, which means you have to spend every day in custody.
He get no good time.
No.
It's a to-the-door sentence.
Yes, he would get any credit for a time served.
Of course, yeah,
but
absolutely.
anything else would be a full sentence door to door.
So his max is 50 years?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and what's the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's offer for Mr. Mender as to count 1 is 16 years to serve 1 year, commuted to time served, with a balance of 15 years on probation. The state would offer that his probation could be terminated upon successful completion of the first 10 years of this sentence, provided that he violated no provisions of the agreement or no special conditions of the agreement, and that he violates no law of the state of Georgia. As to count 44, the state's recommendation is 5 years to serve 1 year, commuted to time served, with a balance to be served on probation, concurrent with count 1. As to count 45, it would be 5 years to serve 1 year, commuted to time served in confinement, commuted to time served, followed by 4 years on probation, concurrent with counts 1 and 44. And count 46 would be 16 years to serve 1 year, commuted to time served, followed by 15 years on probation, concurrent with count 1, 44, and 45. Will be the offer. Mr. Mender also is currently on another indictment, 21 SC 178250. In this case, as a part of the agreement, would run concurrent with that case whenever he resolved that other case, Your Honor.
Is that before me or before another division?
It is in this division currently, Your Honor, and that's being handled by ADA Lauren Jansen with the state.
Does he have bond on that case ending in 250?
I don't believe he has a bond on that case. No, he has a no bond status.
But on this case, his potentially he could go home today.
Correct. If he was given a bond, he would. This case, he would not have served any jail time on this case.
Okay.
And that offer will also conclude today, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Fagan, have you communicated that to your client in terms of is that to correctly summarize the plea agreement or the potential plea offer, I should say?
The only change was that he wasn't aware of the concurrent status for the second case. At this time, though, he still maintains a not guilty plea.
Sure.
Respectfully rejects the offer, and we announce ready for trial.
Okay, Mr. Mender, I'll tell you and I'll tell Mr. Beebe and Mr. Stevens the same thing, okay? At this point, you have the absolute right to plead not guilty, and that's what the law will presume, and the court will, of course, instruct that you have a presumption, and the presumptions and protections you enjoy as a criminal accused. You have to decide for yourselves what you want to do in this particular case, depending upon the results or the outcome of the trial. The only thing I would tell you, Mr. Mender, is the most, and I'm sure that Ms. Fagan, she's a very fine attorney. Seen her work. But trials, there's one thing about trials, it's uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen. So you got to beat 4 counts. If you don't beat them under this A and C recidivist statute, I have to, under the law, sentence you to the maximum sentence. And then whatever I sentence you to, you serve to the door. That's not anything I have any discretion over. It's not anything because I don't like you or because of what you're being charged with or whatever. Those have nothing to do with anything. That's what the state of Georgia, the legislature has mandated that I sentence you to. So one of the things a plea does is you know what you're getting. It caps your exposure. So, and what the state's telling you today is if you take the plea today, this is what you're going to get, and this is what I probably sentence you to, and you're done. You got to decide that for yourself. You can't be worried about any of these other folks that are attached to this indictment, because a plea is individual to that particular person for those particular reasons that he or she feels. So I'll give you a few more minutes to ponder that, because that is, when they file a recidivist notice, that they have basically, in poker terms, they've called. Like, what do you want to do? So I'll let you think about that. You can let me know, and if not, then we'll see you next week for trial. Mr. Beebe, where are you?
Here you are. Judge, we're in a similar situation. We would reject the state's offer as provided on record, Your Honor. However, Mr. Beebe would ask the court if the court would hear a non-negotiated plea as to the indictment.
I would.
If that's the case, Judge, Mr. Beebe would then ask if he does not agree with Your Honor's sentence, would the court allow him to withdraw the plea and proceed to trial?
I need to think about that for just a second, okay?
Understood.
Just give me a minute, okay? But yes, that's more than fine.
Thank you.
Mr. Beebe, you got the same kind of, same discussion I had with Mr. Mender applies to you, but let me just get back with you in just a second, okay? Mr. Stevens, where are you? Okay, madam, are you still talking to your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm actually still exchanging text messages with the state. So
Okay, I'm gonna take a couple of minutes out and let you all continue to chat. I'm gonna just take a recess, and I'll come back in just a minute, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're very welcome. All right.
Man, check my man out. He ain't trying to hear none of that. He ain't trying to hear none of that. Now, I get some people, they say it's a deal, you gonna come home. You feel me? But no, it's not just that simple. Not in everybody's case. They trying to make these guys testify. They trying to make these guys lose moral and dignity against a man who helped them out financially, probably took care of most of their families, man. A lot of these YSL members going out sad, man, and I salute to these 2 or 3 guys. Because they say 2 turned down the deal, but it's 3 guys right here, so I don't know which one is which. You feel me? But I like what they doing. I like what they doing. And salute to everybody that been keeping up with what I'm doing over here as far as the coverage I've been giving, because I think I've been giving the most informative coverage on the YSL case. When it come down to breaking down the legal terms and all this thing about snitching and not snitching, yeah, I got to give myself credit with that, because I actually been through this type of situation and had rats in my case. You feel me? So I know exactly how this go. And one of the things that I noticed with this case is they didn't have a case at first. If you notice, the day before that key evidence got thrown out, that's when they started giving them deals. They knew that evidence was going to get tossed. They got it fugazi. They knew it was going to get tossed, so they rushed out and gave these deals. That's why they still giving them, because the case is still kind of shaky. It's still shaky. And what they did was, or what they're trying to do, the state of Georgia, is build the case off of these pleas. If you pay attention to every deal that was taken, all these guys are pleading guilty to different parts of the case. You got Gunna pleading guilty, saying he was in the car with Thug and the drugs was in there. You got the leader, the other leader, saying that YSL was a gang. Gunna saying YSL was a gang. Slime Like Shorty saying YSL in the gang. The other guy saying he heard conversations with Nut about the Nut murder. They're building the case off of these guys taking pleas. And I'm glad I'm hoping that's what these three guys that was in court noticing. They don't have nothing. All you gotta do is stand firm, stand pat, and wait it out. They might postpone it in January. Cause that's the time the games that they play when they don't got nothing. This is gonna be a postponing game. It's gonna be who can wait out the longest. Now, it was hard waiting when you were there. I understand that. I've been there. It's hard waiting. They on the outside, so it's easy for them to play the game, but you know, you signed up for it. You feel me? And I salute these guys, Mender and B, whoever they is. Salute to them, man, for doing the right thing, man, and stand firm with your man, because Thug took care of them boys. He don't deserve to go out like that. You got all these guys taking pleas on him, man. He don't deserve that. Loyalty. That's what it's about. Honor, loyalty, dignity. Yeah, they're in a tight spot. They're in a messed up situation, yo. But if they'd all stayed firm from the beginning and all stuck together, they'd have came out way better. Or at least when it came down to these plea bargains, made sure that everybody was getting a deal. It was like a team thing. We all going to take these deals and we're going to let the chips fall how they fall. Some of us going to come home. Some of us going to go to prison. But hey, we all win. We all dignified. Ain't nobody telling. That's how you handle these type situations. Now, on the reverse note, it might be too late because, like I said, they building the case off of these plea bargains, so they might already got enough. But then again, if they had enough, would they still offer pleas? That's a valid question. Let me know what y'all feel about this in the comments, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. Support them two boys, man. Salute to them, man, for standing firm, man, and not turning on Thug when he changed their life. Make sure you subscribe to the channel again. I'm out. Keep it G.